Hello everyone, my name is Shaket, Sports Guy Show. Here I am waving, and I am, ladies and gentlemen, making delicious dinner right now. This is, if you want to see, so ribeye steaks, which are in the grill right there. And also have those are portobello mushrooms, which I've cleaned them, because when portobello mushrooms, you want to clean them deep inside, otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be good. It's going to taste bitter. And then, you look over here, you see so many cans. So I'm going to use them. There's artichoke hearts right there. There is jalapenos peppers from the can. Green olives from the can. Another can of artichoke hearts. And then right here we have to find how I can put the camera right there. We have shiitake mushrooms, which I've washed them. Now, and also right here we have asparagus, which I brought at Aldi. Now, the asparagus I should say, they are fully washed, so that is something very important. Now, the mushrooms, you can see, I have put the portobello. So far, I'm not cooking with any oil, because on the grill you don't need oil. Now, as I mentioned before, same with portobello mushrooms, you want it inside to basically be naked. If you don't clean it inside, like, you can leave a bit of it, but if you don't clean nearly the full amount of the membrane of the portobello mushrooms, what you're going to have is very bitter portobello mushrooms, and you don't want that, obviously. So here I put another one. I have in total 6 portobello mushrooms. In the front, you can see, you can leave a bit of the skin on it. It's not a big deal, but it's more important on the back. You really have to do a good job of cleaning it. And let's see if we can zoom in on the steak. Right here we have the steak. So, ribeye. They're called ribeyes, and they're made by Greenhouse. Which, let's see if I can hold the steak. Going to also flip that other one. Spice that I'm using, one of it right here, red crushed peppers. I'm going to also put the mushrooms, and also cayenne peppers. Also putting it on the mushrooms. And finally, minced onion. Now, when the mushrooms are done, I'm going to then, ladies and gentlemen, put the other mushroom, put the asparagus, and the spice like the artichoke hearts and the olive, the green olives, and the jalapeno peppers. But for now, I'm not going to put it all on top because you can see I don't have enough space in the grill. Which, speaking of the grill, I didn't plan to, but I'm going to grab a bit, and I mean a bit, not a lot, of extra virgin olive oil. Right here. You can see I typically don't use it much because I have an air fryer. Air fryer, you really don't need the oil in the air fryer. So I'm just put enough where it will cover it. And then I'm going to grab me another spatula for the vegetables. Because obviously, the last thing you want is food contamination. By the way, I wish we would have smell-o-vision because I can smell the spice from the minced onion and from the peppers. I can really smell it. Let's see if we can flip the steak around. I typically like to cook my steak to medium rare. Like, well, it's tasty, well, it's yummy, but of course, if you cook it at plain rare, you definitely run the risk of serious illness. You don't want that, obviously. And here, you can see the mushrooms, which has some main brain on it, so trying to clean it. Which, by the way, so this is the noise you want to hear, that it's cooking. Well, I was going to say that with these mushrooms, they are basically, people can use them like a steak. Speaking of the steak, going to season this size with cayenne, the mushrooms, as it's not too hot on this side, I'm just removing part of the main blade that I don't need. Now going to put minced onion on this side of the steak and on the mushrooms. I'm going to clear it. You can definitely hear on the bottom from the mushrooms that it's cooking side of the oil. So technically, if you want, you can use portobello mushrooms as steaks, which they go great with spinach, arugula. Just a bit of oil jumping on me. That is not cool. Definitely not cool. Put a bit of spices. Like when I cook, and I definitely love to cook, and I consider myself a pretty good cook. You won't see me, ladies and gentlemen, putting salt. You won't. I don't like salt. I'm not a big fan of the salt. Just doesn't have a good taste in my opinion. So I rather use spices like cayenne, like chili powder, like minced onion, oregano, basil, than salt. Just doesn't have a good taste. Speaking of good taste, I'm going to use a bit of basil. I'm going to use them on the mushrooms. I'm going to put it on my steaks. Now, just need to see right here. Hopefully you guys can see. That is the light that I'm looking for. If it's red light, it means the griller is on. If it's not red light, it means it's not on. I think the steak, probably in 3 minutes, give or take, probably will be done. And once it's done, you see, this is good, and it's making it difficult to cook the mushroom. That. I'm going to try to remove that, even though you can definitely eat it. Don't get me wrong. It's eatable part, but it's just making it difficult. You can see I'm basically sucking it in, literally pushing the spatula, the mushroom inside so it can cook. The same with this mushroom. See, this mushroom is not very big, follows the middle part. So we don't need that. We don't need that to remove it. To be careful, because if you're not, oil can jump on you, which can be dangerous. I'm going to move so as soon as the mushrooms are done, I'm going to put them on this plate right here. Then we will move on to our seasoning. To our side, the artichoke, jalapeno peppers, the green olives, all of those fun stuff. Because, and of course the asparagus, because just the deal. When you cook, you have two choices. You can make it fancy, or you can make it simple. Personally, I like to make it fancy. That is how I like to make it. So use one mushroom. Done. Get ready? Here come another mushroom. Here comes a small part of the mushroom. Get ready? Mushroom number 3. We still have 3 more to go. So here come number 4. So I'm pretty sure I'm ready for number 5. Here it comes. So, number 5, I'm not going to have number 6 because accidentally I put it in the steak box. Roast steak, which is definitely an absolutely no-no. While you guys are watching my steak cook, I'm going to wash my hand real quick. With and salt. That is so important. So my hands are washed. What we want. And now let's start with the fun. We have mushrooms. Now big time mushrooms, as you can see, size-wise. Green olives. I'm going to use a bunch of green olives. Jalapeno peppers. Asperger. Artichoke out. Can number 1. Can number 2. Now, obviously, we have the jalapenos. This is a hot dish. To knock it off, I'm going to use some honey. But before I do that, let's put a can of jalapeno seed. And let's put some cayenne peppers. And let's put some red crushed peppers. And let's put some minced onions. Now, let's put some honey. You can see I'm even putting the honey on the jalapenos. Because otherwise, this dish will be burning from spice. We definitely don't want it to be burning. Not at all. Now, I'm pretty sure this steak is almost done. And I'm pretty sure this steak is also almost done. Which, looking at the mushrooms, You see, I basically wash them. The reason why I wash them is because they add a lot of dirt on it. So you definitely don't want to have dirty mushrooms. It's not a good recipe. That's lost jalapeno. I'm going to put it back in. Where you think you're going? You're not going anywhere. So I have to put the green olives back in the fridge. I'm going to grab a plate. So I can put the steaks. You know, I grab a plate. So I can put the steaks on top of the plate. Which I'm pretty sure this steak is basically done. Which I said I'm sure it's done. But since I don't want to wait in pushing it, like changing direction, the size of the steak back and forth, I'm just going to put it on the microwave just for a minute. Which a minute going to be the magic. So the steaks are in the microwave. Now we are going to put tiny bit of extra virgin olive oil, and what we will do is put our asparagus in. Now I'm not concerned about contamination because I'm cooking my asparagus. Now, if I didn't cook my asparagus, if I just reheat them, absolutely, you worry about contamination. But because I am basically cooking my asparagus until they will be ready, I'm not worrying about the asparagus as far as food contamination goes. Now I'm going to grab the steak from my microwave. So that is what we are talking about. Ribeye. Steaks. Which, you see the vegetables, you see the asparagus. I'm going to say bon appetit, everyone, and let me know what you think of those dishes.